We have a world champion in the NBA, and Woody Johnson is closing his wallet. Is that good news or bad news? We discuss. Let's roll. Boy Green Daily starts right freaking now.
Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video program, also available wherever you get your podcast. Congratulations to the Boston Celtics, banner number 18, most championships in NBA history. And congratulations to guys like Al Horford, who is the player who had the second most games in NBA history without a title until last night. Al Horford, 37-year-old, has been doing it for a long time. And shout out to the duo, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, finally getting the chip. So congratulations to the Boston Celtics. And let's get into our topic for today's show. Now, you know, we make some Cowboys connections on the show because my father, senior, is a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. And, well, there's another page to connect today. So you may have heard it earlier this offseason. Jerry Jones went, "We're all in, baby. We're all in." And a lot of Cowboys fans went, "Oh, great, all in. Phenomenal. We're going to start signing people left and right. Derrick Henry's coming. We're going all in to chase the championship." Well, in Practical Joker style, well, that's not what he meant. He meant all in, like going all in on his guys and saying, hey, you know, like CeeDee Lamb, no pay right now. Micah Parsons, no pay right now. Dak Prescott, no pay right now. Mike McCarthy, let's ride the train, baby. And it's all of this jazz. Of like, let's go, 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 go. And then we'll figure it out after. Well, apparently Woody Johnson is taking a page out of the Jerry Jones Playbook. And again, we got a full article in the YouTube description down below. And it came from Rich Cimini on the Flight Deck podcast. Here we go. Let's get to the latest juicy deets from Rich Cimini, who says this, quote, "I think Woody Johnson is done shelling out the big bucks. It's interesting that some folks think that he's been doing some cost cutting. You notice they have a smaller coaching staff than last year. He never replaced Rex Hogan or Chad Alexander. You hear some whispers around the building that there were some cuts in other departments that were non-football related. Interesting. Their cash spending this year is $260 million. That ranks 20th in the NFL, which is about $90 million behind the Eagles, who are number one. So yeah, I don't think Woody Johnson is going to be throwing around any more big bucks this year. And why is that relevant? Well, there are two big contracts that, well, not too big. I mean, there's a list, which we'll get to. But for instance, according to Rich Cimini, contract discussions between the Jets and DJ Reed and Michael Carter II are, quote, non-existent. They have not been happening and sound like they won't be happening based on the latest from Rich Cimini. And we could get into that, but I think we need the full scope before we properly and fully evaluate this. And it's this, that the reason why Woody Johnson is potentially being a little more frugal here and holding his cards to the chest is because he knows what's happening in 2022, according to Rich Cimini, saying, quote, he knows he has some other big contracts coming up next year on the horizon, so he wants to prepare for that, is basically the gist. And that's it. Let's go to Jared B real quick. He says, Paul, in the article, it says the Jets spent $90 million less than the Eagles, but isn't that because of cap space? Sure, certainly. Yeah. Cash and everything else all together. That's a part of the equation. But it also means like extensions, right? Because, like, you know, you could sign any one of these guys, which, by the way, is the point of this. And this is where we get into the interesting territory. On one side of the fence, you have guys that are worthy of contract extensions right now. And then you also have the 2022 class. And I think we can all agree We want to retain as many, if not all, of the entire 2022 class. We want Sauce Gardner. We want Garrett Wilson. We want Jermaine Johnson. We want Breece Hall. Can we keep all four? Well, you could make an argument that Sauce and Breece are let's put them all together. There's a case to be made that Sauce for sure, but Breece and Garrett, if they have really good years, are going to be near the highest paid at their position. Sauce for sure, undoubtedly, he'll be the highest paid corner in football. Garrett, if he's coming off the year we all think he can have with Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be up there among the highest paid wide receivers. And then Breece Hall, if he has the season we believe he has, Christian McCaffrey, he could be among the highest paid running backs in football. And Jermaine, if we're being honest, he hasn't quite been to that level yet. But if he takes another step in that direction as a double-digit sack season, the Jets are going to have what the kids like to say, a first world problem. Now, again, we can all agree that we want that quadruplets, that four-pack, to remain together. But if Woody Johnson is saying what Rich Cimini is indicating that he's saying, that means there's a lot of pressure because here are all the other guys that are set to be free agents next year in some form or fashion. The Jets have 10 starters that are set to hit the open market, Here is that list. Hassan Reddick, DJ Reed, Mike Williams, Tyler Conklin, Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, Javon Kinlaw, Chuck Clark, Michael Carter II, and Tony Adams. Now, Tony Adams is a restricted free agent, so slightly different. But that is the list. The Jets have 10 starters, 9 if you exclude Tony Adams and his restricted free agent status, although technically, depending on the tender, the Jets slap on him, and if another team offers a contract and the Jets match, and there's a lot of hoopla. So for now, I will say 10 and just include him in the pool. 10 starters for the New York Jets, and obviously that's not including any of the 2022 draft class, which aren't set to be free agents next year, but they're set to discuss contracts. So it's just a bold move, Cotton, and I'm not saying I disagree about closing up the wallets and closing up the checkbook and closing all that jazz. But I will say that it's going to be a price. There's going to be an iron price to pay for these guys, and the Jets are going to have to make some business decisions on this. So Woody Johnson, according to Rich Cimini, is not going to be showing out any more big bucks for the rest of this offseason. And that means that guys like DJ Reed and Michael Carter II, who Rich Cimini said contract discussions with both of those individuals are, quote, non-existent. They are not happening. And it sounds like they're not going to happen. So the Jets will have to make some business decisions and see what's going to be going on there. Jared B says, every year we have 10 starter free agents because of the constant one-year deals. I push back on that. I don't think every year there's 10 starters set to be free agents. I don't think that's true. And if we look at this list that I just mentioned, Hassan Reddick was traded for, so count that for what you will. Mike Williams was, so let's go through the one-year deal, guys. That's Mike Williams. That's Tyron Smith. Chuck Clark was a one-year deal. But like DJ Reed was at the end of his contract. Tyler Conk was at the end of his contract. Michael Carter II's at the end of his contract. DJ Reed's at the end of his contract. So there's a lot of guys. It's not just all one-year deals. That's not everything that it is. Now, in this last dance season now, I don't think that you're suggesting that that's been a thing for a while. I don't agree with that. 10 starters is a lot of starters. You only have 22 starters on the team. 10 of those 22 are set to hit the open market next year, or at the very least the restricted market, which again, we've mentioned the exception for Tony Adams, but someone could get froggy if Tony Adams has another really good year, depending on the tender the Jets give him. Someone could steal him away from the Jets too in the RFA, restricted free agent market. That's also possible. So the Jets are going to have to do some action with some of these guys, and that's a lot of pressure because you only have one franchise tag in your back pocket, which is a first world problem. This is all good news, but I think that increases the pressure for this season, this year, to win the championship because it's so hard to win the championship. Number one, obviously, we don't have to tell Jet fans that, but so difficult to win the championship. And when you have all these guys are on the precipice, and if you get all the way and make a deep run, a lot of people got to get paid. Look at the Detroit Lions for an example. Right? They didn't even win the Super Bowl. They went to the NFC Championship. They blew it. And look at everyone they've had to pay. Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff. The entire construct of the team has changed because they've been having to dole out elite money. Amon-Ra St. Brown for 5 seconds was the highest paid wide receiver in football. Penei Sewell among the highest paid offensive linemen in football. Jared Goff among the highest paid quarterbacks in football. It makes the roster construction a lot different and a lot more difficult. So the Jets are going to embrace that first world problem next year, but it's going to be a sitch. And that's it. So Woody Johnson pulled a page out of the Jerry Jones playbook. Again, I'm not sure whether it's good news or bad news because, for instance, Michael Carter II is someone I would love to see as I look at this list. Okay, so let's go through each guy. So Hassan Reddick, to me, I'm perfectly fine with him being a hired mercenary, 1 year, come in, get a lot of sacks, leave. DJ Reed, I think a lot of us are leaning towards him leaving. I love the guy. I love his story. I love the Jets' edition of him a couple years ago. But it sounds like Quantez Stiggers is like his future replacement option, which is probably too prisoner of the moment right now. Who knows if he can step up to the plate to that level, but that's our gut. Mike Williams, to me, also feels like a hired mercenary. I don't foresee him being here long-term. Tyler Conklin's up in the year. You could see one way or the other. You could see him signing a similar deal to stay. Tyron Smith, if everything plays out right, he kills it this year. Olu Fashanu takes over for him at left tackle. Although I love Tyron, I'd love him here for multiple years, but I understand the development of Fashanu is important. Morgan Moses, we don't have a right tackle, unless you count Carter Warren or Max Mitchell. So Morgan Moses could be back. Javon Kinlaw could certainly be back. Chuck Clark, same story. MC2 is, again, someone else I'd like, and so is Tony Adams. So there's a few of these guys that are like hired hitmen that are just here to do the job, and then move on. But there's a lot of guys on that list that could be brought back, which I think is important. All right, let's get to some of your guys' comments here on the program, and then I'll also open up the phone lines here in a little bit. Jerby with the zoinks. And also, guys, make sure to the 200-plus people in the room, you guys are liking the video, hitting subscribe. We got the Boy Green merch shop down below, which we appreciate. Check it out. On tomorrow's show, I will show you, I ordered a bunch of the gear here, and you guys will see some of that. I got the hat in. I got the shirt in. I'll show you guys all that tomorrow. I love how the hat came out. I'll just say that. NC. Congrats, BG, and all the Celtics fans on number 18. Pains me to say that, though. Yeah, I was getting a little emotional last night. I was watching with my fiance. She's from Boston. That's where I stole her from. And, 16 years ago, I was with my father when I moved up here to New York. It was me and my old man. Much of the house wasn't packed yet, or vice versa. We didn't unpack much of the house yet. We had just moved up here to New York. And me and my dad were together when the Celtics won banner number 17, which was back in 2008. That was an emotional moment. And it was emotional last night, too. I tell you that, again, I repeat, because this is a Jet show. Obviously, I don't do any Celtic shows, but the feeling last night was amazing and cool and thrilling, but it's nothing to what it's going to be when the Jets win it all. And I say that emphatically. I have no idea what it's going to be like because I haven't been alive on the planet to see it. But, that's going to be special. But it was really cool last night, and I will be pelvic thrusting on the radio today. Damn straight. Murdoch here on the show. Paulie, what's up, bro? Peter Capizzi, Card Cave Central, Jackson Valente, another Celtics brother in arms. Very nice. Morning from Zebo. Cuca, Jackson Valente, damn straight. William here on the channel. We appreciate you. Thanks, pal. Back to Zebo here. Congrats, Boy Green. It was a sweet memory when my Cavs captured the title in 2016. I think I definitely said this on the Jake Asman show last night. So you guys see, I look like Casper with this light. And it's been this way because of how this office is set up in the middle of my house. That this is like just a beam skylight. So I'm going to have to work around some different options. But right off camera, right here, is a brand new studio I'm putting together. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. And speaking of you, Zebo, it is the last book on the right. I have a bookshelf right here with all these books. And I'm proud. I'm going to be very proud to show you guys all these. There's a lot of Jet books, fantasy football, all kinds of cool books. But one of the books I have is the LeBron James book. Brian Windhorst wrote. I think Dave McMenamin was the other one on that book. Excuse me if I'm wrong on that one. But I have that book of LeBron coming back on the 3-1 Warriors. It's a great book. Great book. Congratulations, Zebo, back then. That was an awesome title. And, yeah, it feels special when you win the world championship, man. It's an amazing feeling. Clancy, morning, coffee crew. Watch yesterday's show last night. Spicy. Yeah. Yes, it was. My father randomly joined the show, and oh boy, Gasoline poured everywhere. There's just no other way to put it. And respectfully, I disagree with a lot of his points. But hey, that's why I love differing opinions on the show. When I open up these phone lines, you guys say, "Oh, Paul, you're so handsome." I'm like, stop it. Go on. Keep going. Keep going. I love hearing all that. But it's always great to have a feisty, good debate or a good conversation. Yeah, let me get some water here real quick. Excellent. Yeah, so it's always good to have conversation back and forth on topic. So I'm totally cool with that. I just think the Rogers people, the DRS, the deranged Rogers syndrome, just gets intensely crazy with people, and it's hard to explain it. Jared B says, Paul, the only one that really has to be signed next year is Brees. Has to be, technically, I guess it's no one. But for me, the first contract I'm doing is Sauce Gardner. I'm just locking that in. The market is clear. It's one penny more than the highest paid corner in football, which is Jair Alexander, I believe, by a per year basis. But we could get it to the overall number, the guaranteed number. Sauce to me is the easiest contract. Like, because Garrett, you're like, where does he rank among the receivers? We haven't seen that elite season yet. Like, it's kind of up in the air. Like Brees Hall, we haven't seen 1,000-yard rushing season yet, and he's hurt the first year. He plays all 17 last year. It looked really good, obviously, but you're like, where does he stand? Like Sauce, there's no question. There's no debate. He's the number one corner of football. We all know where he stands. So that one to me is the simplest of the contracts. It's expensive, but it's the simplest of the others. But I know what you're saying because Brees Hall is the only non-first round pick of the group we're talking about, which means he has a 4-year contract as opposed to the 5-year, 5th-year option. They're on the other guys. And next year, after the season's over, Brees will have 1 year left on his deal. So technically, they don't have to. If they really wanted to do it, they could force him to play that one out. They could play the franchise tag game and control him for the foreseeable future at a cost-efficient route. I hope they don't do that because I love Brees the person. Brees is an awesome guy. So I hope that there is a middle ground to be made here. But the business is the business, and that can be very difficult, as we're talking about here with the Hassan Reddick situation, obviously. But I would do the Sauce one first just because it just seems simple. And the money's only going to go crazier. PS2 has to get paid soon. There's some other big-time corners coming up, too. So it behooved the Jets to pay that sooner rather than later. Allen's been on this train for a while, but MC2 has to be signed and no contract talk so far. Now, maybe they could suddenly spring here over the next month, but that seems unlikely, especially based on the new information from Rich Cimini, which, again, I think is a mistake. If you think you can replace a boundary corner, fine. But, man, replacing a slot corner and a boundary corner and your top backup right now is a free agent to be, too. We didn't even include that on the list. That was starters. But Brandon Eccles, Michael Carter II, DJ Reed, the entire cornerback room could be poof next year. Unbelievable. It's a tough sitch. Zebo says Adams will be cheap. He's referencing Tony Adams. Yeah, the RFA, the restricted free agent tender, should be relatively cheap. Bryce Huff was slapped with, I believe, a second-round tender last year, and it was like $4.6 million and change. So depending on what they do, you have to kind of gauge the market. You want to try to give them the lowest tender possible because the Jets want to be cheap. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's football, economics and everything. You want to pay the least amount of money that you possibly can and keeping the player happy and all this other stuff. So hopefully he's cheap. Yeah. But it should be relatively no matter what. But Clancy says we have a lot of money next year. We do, but that money going to disappear real quick like. That's for damn sure. But we're in a good position. We're in a very good position there. Clancy says, sign Brees and Sauce next year, MC2 now, and GW and hopefully JJ year after next year. We'll see. But where the line gets got is when these guys all realize they're eligible for money, they're all going to want to go first. Now, hopefully they're all like, no, you go. You take your turn. You take your turn. Hopefully it's all nice and patty cake, but not sure it's going to be. We'll see. Ricky New York here. Moses, Carter, Conklin will get deals. The rest will walk. Resign Brees and start negotiations with Sauce. So Morgan Moses, Carter, Conklin, Michael Carter, I'm assuming who he's talking about. And maybe Conklin will get deals. Yeah, we'll see. Any of those three, that makes sense to me. Resign Brees, I'd love that. Not bad. Not a bad plan. My dad did get gatored. I showed him the video, by the way. I'll reveal his response. Let me see. I texted him yesterday when Gator sent me the video. Where's my dad here? Oh, yeah. So I sent him the video. He said swell. But I do look good in a straitjacket. So there you go. My father was pleased with the Gator edit. So shout out to Gator, wherever you are. My dad appreciated the straitjacket. He said it looks good in it. So that is funny. Let's see. Back to Zebo here. Key isn't recognizing all the good players. Key is paying the players that provide that much value above an average replacement. Correct. So again, you can't pay everybody. That's the truth. That is the truth. We will see, and they will have to determine and make that determination. My father's in here today. Brees Hall will be less expensive than you predict. We'll see. Well, Christian McCaffrey entered the offseason. He was already number one. He was the highest paid running back in football at $16 million per year. He got his contract a couple years ago, so like it was dated and still no one had topped him. So he appeared to be an outlier in the running back market. And then he became the highest paid running back in football again. Like he was already number one, so he just beat himself. That sounds weird. Anywho, at $19 million per year. And he does it all as a running back, receiver, and everything. And when Brees Hall was asked, because he had media availability during mandatory minicamp, I think it was Antoine Staley of the New York Daily News. We'll have him on in a couple weeks. But he said, hey, Christian McCaffrey got paid. And Brees Hall just got this big smile across his face. And he says, I hope I could put myself in that category and all this other stuff, which would mean that money, whether that was direct or indirect. We'll see. I hope you're right, because I'd like, again, to pay all these guys as little as possible from that perspective, while also being cool to the people that I want them to get it. But yeah, if I had to guess right now, Brees, if he has the season we think, right, let's say, I don't know, around 1,000, 1,100 rushing yards maybe, and then this kind of really good receiving season where it's like 600-700 yards receiving or something. Maybe he's a lot better than that, but like those would be really great numbers, and he would threaten Curtis Martin's all-time purpose yardage record in a single season. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just difficult. It's just difficult to try to prognosticate. But I would imagine I'm curious to see what you believe the number is, Pop, as you're here in the comment section. But boy, I think the money's going to be 14, 15, 16 million, somewhere in that ballpark per year on a 3-year deal, something like that. That's my gut. That's what my gut says. Appreciate all the congratulations on the C's, everybody. Thank you very much. Back to my pop here. He's a versatile weapon to be sure, but not a real running game threat. His receiving yards will take a hit from Rodgers' return. I just think I think my father and others. My father sees more Jet games than the normal people, I suppose, but not a real running game threat. I just feel like people are going to realize who Brees Hall is. He is one of the most explosive running backs in the NFL, and if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile, and he's going to show everybody. Now, again, he didn't have 1,000 yards his first season. He got hurt, although he was pacing towards it. And then last year, he didn't get 1,000 yards because of the calculator nerd on the sideline. But people are going to realize how good Brees Hall is. I push back on the not a real running game threat. That is, it's borderline insulting, quite frankly. But hey, KB Rock, the Jet fan, Boy Green. Back to Paul A. Eston Sr. here again. Half his rushing yards came from 3 games. He was middle of the pack in that area. Much more receiving threat, despite Hackett's unawareness. I would say a lot of that could be contributed to the terrible offensive line play. That's what I would lean toward, as opposed to Brees Hall just not being good. And the terrible quarterback play he was associated with. But we'll see. Darren, you go into the parade, Paul. I hate all Boston teams, but congrats to you, Paul. And I'm going to be honest, it's complicated because, like, again, when I was a kid, so the reason why I'm a Boston fan, because people ask me this all the time. They learn about the Boy Green, they're like, oh, wow, wait, whoa, Boston, what the hell? My father was born in Gatineau, Mass. My mother was born in Rhode Island, so there's a lot of New England around me growing up. So Celtics, Red Sox. I was never a Patriot fan, so you can look up. I don't have like this Fireman Ed thing where I used to be a Dolphins fan or something. You guys are going to find that on Reddit or something or someplace that like, aha, see, Paul was a Patriot fan growing up. He's so phony. There's no Patriot. I was never a Patriots guy, so I can say that confidently, which is good. But so I never had a Patriots thing, but I had all the other Boston things. And then, like I said, my grandfather, God rest his soul, put me on the Jets train when he gave me the nickname to Jet. And, then I said, who the hell are the Jets? And then, like I said, it's been a fandom for 20 plus years. It's been awesome. But it's complicated because I can't scream it from Twitter. Woo, go Celtics! People are like, what the fuck? What the hell's going on with that guy? He's a Jets guy. That doesn't make any sense. So I have to really kind of keep it closeted. I get to talk about it on the radio. I get to talk about it here because I'm straight up. I'm honest with you guys with what's going on. So I get to say it in a few places. I did ask my fiance. Like I said, she's from Boston, and I asked her, "Hey, do you want to go back for the parade?" I was kind of kidding, but like it would be kind of cool. But I think the parade I'll hold out for is the New York Jets, baby. That's a parade I will go to. But this is awesome and this is amazing. There's no doubt about it. But I think I'm going to hold out and I will enjoy it from afar. Jets Afterburners Pod. I'm 25 and I've never seen any of my teams win a championship. So I'm 31 and I've seen, let's see. So I saw my Celtics win 2 championships, obviously, 2008, and just this year, obviously. So I got to witness that myself. So that one feels good. I wasn't alive to see the Jets one, and it's crazy that again I've been a Red Sox fan and Celtic fan since birth, basically, from being around my parents. And I've got to see 4 world championships for the Red Sox, which was 04, 2007, 2013, and 2018. So, but again, between 1918 and 2004, nearly 100 years, no championship. And all of a sudden now we're getting a bunch with 4. So I'm a little spoiled from that perspective. So 4 there, 2 at the Celtics, and then my Jets, which is the one that's most important to me. Most important to me. That's the championship I'm rooting for. 3 Sibling says that Jets Super Bowl will be something else, and everyone better be at the parade. I can't wait. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be there. I can't wait. Peter Campisi says, BG, let me just say, Super Bowl 3 was an excellent day to be a Jets fan. Plus, New York drinking age was 18. Hey-o! I actually have the Jets Super Bowl on DVD, and I've seen it a bunch of times. I have it on DVD, and I watch it. It's not the same, obviously, as experiencing in the moment, but it is pretty cool. Yeah, Esden Senior standing on business. That's a good way to say it. And I'm sure when I open up the phone lines, there will be more of that. I'm certain of it, which I will open up here in a second. Let's see. Yeah, there's going to be some crazy contracts. Again, Sauce is going to be top paid corner in football. I have no doubt about that. Oh yeah, we got some Packers fans in here. Very nice. King Lowski, yeah, he. I know Phil hates the King Lowski yelling, and to be honest, when I first came into the space, especially on radio, I was a big yeller, and I still got my kerfluffle and the vernacular, and I get amped up. The real reason I'm not even louder is because, like, behind this wall is my sleeping fiance, my 2.5-year-old daughter, and my unborn baby. So unless I want to get hit in the back of the head with a frying pan, I have to somewhat control the volume of my voice. So that's part of the situation in our construct of this house. But, it is what it is. And I don't want to be killed and murdered here live on my show. So, yeah. That's it. So I am in there, and I see that on there. Let me pull that back up. Clancy says, thank God for your grandfather, BG. LOL. That's it. And that's the reason why. Okay. Where did the name Boy Green come from? Good question. Jets Afterburners podcast. I love telling this story every once in a while. So what I wanted to do for a career is play in the NFL. But they weren't looking for 5'3" on a slanted hill running back. So I went, I guess I can't play in the NFL after my high school football career. And I said, what's the next best thing? And I said, oh, well, it's talking about sports. So I got into sports talk radio. I went to it for school, Cayuga Community College and the Auburn campus. And then, of course, at SUNY Oswego with people like Al Roker, Linda Cohn, Steve Levy, all these great alum from Oswego. And I'm going there for school, doing the radio program. Long story short, I have to take an extra semester, and I end up taking this radio internship here in Syracuse, which ends up being, spoiler alert, my job that I do every day now, which I'll do right after this show. And when I came in as an intern, this unpaid intern, the boss said, Jim the man-child Lurch, he said all interns that come in get a nickname and they're stuck with it for the rest of their lives. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, God, I hope it's a good one because I don't know what's happening here. Anywho, so he observes me for a bunch of shows. I'm grabbing, I'm just doing, busy bee work, doing whatever they say. Hey, jump, how high, this, that, grab me this, grab me that. I'm like, okay, boss, all right. And I had a few on-air bits. And then Lurch comes in on a radio show morning and says, Paul, I got you a nickname. I'm like, okay. And he said again, there's rules to this radio thing. You can't give yourself a nickname. I'm like, okay, that totally makes sense. Why would someone give themselves a nickname? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So he says, I had two options. I'll tell you the first one that I didn't go with. And I went, oh, okay, what is it? And he said, the first one was Elroy. And I'm like, Elroy, what? What do you mean? And he went like, like from the Jetsons, Elroy, Jetsons, Jets, you. I'm like, huh. So quick timeout on the story. Can you imagine Paul Elroy Esden? You want to know what that would think? That must be his middle name. Like that's not a nickname. It's like a weird middle name. So like, again, pause time. Thank God he didn't pick Elroy because, like, Elroy. And can you imagine me telling that story? Oh, Elroy, what's up with that? I'm like, you asked this question. Hey, where did the name Elroy come from? Can you imagine in a bizarro universe that's my nickname? I'm like, well, you see, the Jetsons, Elroy. I'm a Jets guy. Beep, boop, bop, bop, bop. I'm Elroy. And people are like, that's stupid. So thankfully he didn't go with that. But he said, hey, that was my first choice, like in his head that he came up with. But he said, I didn't go with that. Instead, I went with Boy Green. And at first I was like, Boy Green, what am I, a terrible B+ superhero? Boy Green, what is, and boy, I'm a man, baby. And anywho, and by the way, man green sounds like some sort of disease, as I've always said. So it's probably better that I'm not man green. And do I evolve? Someone asked when you have children, which I have one, I'm about to have a second one. Like, do you become man green? They become boy green? How does that work? I haven't figured that part out yet. Anywho, this is a lot of detours, but the reason why he gave me the Boy Green nickname is because I wear green every day, and that is true. Every day of my life, I do in fact wear green. Green's my favorite color. I love green. I don't know why, but it by virtue is the green of the Celtics, the green of the Jets. Green. I wear green all the time. Now, if you had to break it down during a week, like how much is Jets, how much is Celtics? It's like 95% Jets, maybe 99% Jets, and then 1% Celtic every once in a while. But it's mostly Jet. Like I have enough Jet gear to wear something different every day for like the next 40 years. But yeah, the Boy Green nickname came from my radio career about a decade ago, about 10 years ago. I got the Boy Green nickname at the radio station because I wore green all the time and I was this crazy guy. And I've had it ever since. And like I said, at first I was a little hesitant, like Boy Green. That sounds like some sort of B+ superhero. But eventually I just kind of embraced it. I said, you know what? That'll just be my brand. I'll just be Boy Green and people can take it, leave it, or whatever. And then it's blown up to everything wonderful that has happened to me. So thank you for the question, Afterburners. I get that every once in a while. It's good to say. So shout out to Lurch, my radio partner that I've been doing a show with the last 6 years, something like that. I've been working with him for a decade because there was a different radio show before it became the man-child show Boy Green. But that is true. That's where the Boy Green nickname came from and how we get the Boy Green Daily and everything that it's turned into. Can Elroy Daily? No, it just is not there. But yeah. Let's see. Back to my father. Oh, this will get people riled up. I did not say it wasn't good based on his first 2 years of production and the current running back mark. I put him at $8 million a year, which puts him in top 7. Ooh, we'll see. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are hovering around there. I'll have to check that out. The phone lines are going to be open in just a moment. Saturday shows are unbearable. Yeah, there is people that are on both sides of the fence of my father. Jared BS, how much is Super Chats to bang on the wall, Paul? That would take a big price. That would take a lot of money. I would just say that. Can you imagine Elroy? Jeez, Elu. Oh, that is so funny. 3 siblings says, my dad is Leroy. I was almost the third. Oh, boy. See? Yeah, so it's an inside joke. So if people, like I said, seeing Zebo and everyone scream it and stuff, and they just start going, yo, Elroy! Like that'll be a super like we're gonna be at the Jets Patriots home opener, and if someone just yells Elroy, I'm just gonna like that'll be. I have to put that on a T-shirt now. We're gonna have to come up with a cool thing for that. That'll be funny. Like it's like the lost child that never was. I will so respect the Elroy shout outs. That is funny. That was like unbelievable. That was it. All right, let me open up the phone lines. You guys were fun. Good questions, and like I said, you can check out the full story on the Woody Johnson thing. Feel free to do that below on the story. Like I said, I'll show you guys all the new Boy Green merch shop stuff. We're also working on some other stuff too, so I hope you guys can check out some of that coming up here in the near future. That's going to be a lot. Okay, let me see here. All right, video link to join. Let's see how quickly my father joins. That should be. He seemed to really rile you guys up yesterday. That should be a doozy, I imagine. All right, the video link to join is now thrown into the comment section. Let me just pin that real quick. All right, people are asking for the Elroy shirt. All right, let me put that on the list. All right, Elroy shirt. That's going in production. Elroy shirt. People are going to have no idea what that is, but our inside club will be. All right, there you go. I'm putting the Elroy shirt in production. I'll see if we can come up with a cool graphic for that, or excuse me, or something. All right, let's jump on over to the phone lines. And again, that is the pinned comment on YouTube. If you're watching on Heavy on Jets or Twitter at BoyGreen25, just make sure you jump over to youtube.com/BoyGreen25 and click and join in. All right, this guy we went to, Elroy, you people are sick. All right, let's go to the phone lines. And this guy will join us first this time, batting lead up here. Let's go NY Jets FL here on the program. What's up, pal?
Well, good morning. Congratulations on the Celtics. I think your dad is takes are amplified by the euphoria of the Celtics championship. And I would say, your dad's takes have been lost in the sauce, as I would say. So I think he's got to step away. I think he's got to step away from the Jets takes at this point and focus on his number one priority, which is the beloved Dallas Cowboys.
There you go.
But let me say this, Paul, real quick.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah.
I think, thanks, Paul. I think, Breece Hall playing with Zach Wilson, playing with that horrendous offensive line, playing with only a number one wide receiver, how are you going to see his potential? What you have guys jamming the offensive line, 10 in the box practically every play against Zach Wilson because he's so pathetic, right? So you got these guys crowding the box, no threat, hardly a threat for Zach to beat. You have to do, Yale offensive playbook to get our players open and the wide receiver. We had tight ends playing offensive linemen because of our horrendous offensive line. How are you going to see? It's amazing what the guy did considering the circumstances.
Yeah, again, I agree. I think, and the judging, because judging is not just on Breece Hall, and my father's the one that brought this one up, but like go to other, like Garrett Wilson, there's a lot of people, I heard people do like wide receiver rankings, and I've heard people brush aside Garrett Wilson, and they're like Jets, like a disdain, just like a brush away of not considering it. I'm like, okay, people are going to be like, whoa, what the hell? Look at this, that the people are saying things about players that they don't know about because they just Jets or just don't take it fully seriously. I think Garrett Wilson is going to be like, people are going to be like stunned, like, where did this guy come from? What is he, a fifth round? Like, no, he was a top 10 pick. It's Garrett freaking. He just had shitty quarterback play, man. So I think there is going to be a reminder for several key positions and players. Like Sauce has superseded that because he's just been so amazing and he can be good. It doesn't matter what else is happening. Like he's reached his superstar level of like notoriety and everything else. But a lot of other players, I think, can join that group this season with the year that a lot of us are expecting.
You could have said it any better, Paul. I'll let other people come on, but I don't want to pound on your dad, but I mean, we're still in June with this nonsense. You know what I mean? It's like, can we get to July and maybe get into some sense of training camp? And it's so day to day, it's kind of painful to be talking about the Jets, especially defending defending Joe Douglas and Salah, and sorry, I'm a little haven't eaten breakfast yet. Let me say one thing about the Bryce Huff thing. I keep
Okay.
seeing comments about Bryce Huff. We did a bad job. There's a possibility Bryce Huff wanted to leave. Okay, stop saying that Bryce Huff. We failed on Bryce Huff. If I was Bryce Huff and I saw the Jets organization and I saw the Eagles who are constantly possibly in the Super Bowl running every year, I would really consider going to a contender every year if you want to win rings. Plus, he could win if he's successful on a successful team. He got another contract in him. So stop with the Bryce Huff. JD failed the Jets on the Bryce Huff thing. I'm just tired of seeing that. So
Fair enough.
but
I love it.
Thanks.
Thanks for calling in,
Thanks,
brother. All right, and we have a lot of callers, but let's get to this guy. He's your mother's favorite caller. Let's go to my father, Eston Zone, here on the show. Ah, look at that cap.
Well, there it is. Looking sharp. Make sure you order yours today. I'm sure we'll put the pinned comment in the links.
Correct.
And I'm going to be super short today.
Okay.
I want to address the thoughts and comments of people. When I watch this show, just like everybody else, because I do like the Jets, and I'm a bigger Boy Green fan than anyone on the planet. So I am responding when I talk, not as a Cowboys fan, but as an engaged person. I know probably as much or a lot more than average of the people on the call about the Jets and a lot about football. And so yesterday's focus was around the dichotomy between Hassan Reddick and Aaron Rodgers both missing mandatory minicamp, not an attack on Aaron Rodgers. As with Breece Hall, I was responding to your comment that he's going to be one of the top running backs. And I would tell you analytically, yes, I get everything that we said, right? That he was behind, he had a bad quarterback, bad offensive line, So the flip side of that is the overflowing optimism that embraces Jets fans that he's going to be a top 2 running back when he has never displayed that, right? And there's circumstances that are around that, but he's never displayed that. When he gets out in the open field, he's lightning in a bottle. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not disparaging him. I'm saying as a running back, think about what I said. Go and look for yourself. 3 games out of 17 made up half of his running yards. Just think about that. So that means if he gained 994 yards, more than half of that came from 3 games, and one of them was against the basement dwellers Patriots. So I'm not talking bad about him. I think the current draft that the Jets had is phenomenal for him. You got the Pounders now. You got 2 Pounders that they drafted, the Jackrabbit and the gentleman from Wisconsin. I think it's going to be a great combo. But I think he'll be more useful in the passing game than the running game. I think they used a mixed approach. And with that, all that in mind, in the current running back market, except for a few outliers this past season, is low. That's what I'm talking about.
And I will give you credence to this. There was a 9-game stretch of what I'm about to read to you that happened last season, which was nothing other than disgusting. It actually, I pointed it out on Twitter, it led to Breece Hall sliding to my DMs to point out some contextual factors. He was not a big fan of me highlighting this period of time, but I will do so right now. This is from, let me make sure I go in order here of this run. So that's week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So starting with the Eagles game, okay, which was week 5, and the Jets had a bye in week 6. Here are Breece Hall's rushing totals for this stretch of time, which again is 9 weeks. 39 yards rushing, 17, 50, 28, 23, 25, 16, 40, 12. Those were the rushing numbers, which are disgusting for Breece Hall over that stretch. I pointed out going, whoa, what's going on here? Not to like crap on Breece, but it was just kind of like, Jesus, like, look how bad things have gotten here. And like I said, I got an immediate Breece Hall DM. I didn't even tag him in it. I don't know how he saw it so quick. And we were talking about some of the contextual factors. He was adding interesting details. It was a good conversation. And we had a good chat about it privately. But yeah, I mean, that stretch is abysmal. And that does not happen, to your point, to the best running backs in football. So we'll have to see.
And there's a lot on Hackett. Let's say I'm not painting a picture. There's the offensive line. There's Hackett. There's the 12 running backs that we trotted out. Some of them tried out like Invincible, right? They showed up on the field. Hey, can I play today? Despite your over enthusiasm, I remember you go, "Let them boil." I wish we should take that video clip. But anyways, all I'm saying is we're jumping the shark. I don't think we're gonna have to overtly pay him a crazy amount. I think he will be a huge contributor to the receiving game and a versatile option. But with a better quarterback, the ball's going to get spread out more. Lazard's going to eventually wake up from hibernation, and I think you'll see comparable rushing yards. He'll be the 700-800 yards. Write this down. He'll be in the 700-800 yard range, and a little less on the receiving than last year. Only not due to his detriment, but because the ball is going to be spread around by a far superior quarterback. So again, not hate, never hate, just dealing as I say. And it's very funny that I am a Cowboys fan. I seldom bring it up, but that's like, well, when you make a good point on somebody, well, yeah, well, look at your mom. Well, I was talking about my mom. So it's very interesting. That's where people go. I try to provide a fair and balanced view of my opinion. So that's all. And I love the straight jacket. So thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So Gator asked about that. So Gator's in the chat somewhere. He appreciated the straight jacket video. Thank you. And that is now living forever on Jake Asman's channel. So now people are thrown into the DRS room. So other people, I saw Mike Francesa was thrown in there as well. An edit where his face is on that straight jacket as well. So deranged Roger syndrome apparently is what they're calling it. And real quick on Brees Hall, there are 5 running backs currently that make at least $10 million per year, and really that number is $12 million. That explains the massive gap there is between the top 5 and everybody else. That is Josh Jacobs, who's making $12 million a year. Saquon Barkley's at 12.5. Jonathan Taylor's at $14 million. Alvin Kamara's at $15 million, and he's holding out because he's complaining about that number. And Christian McCaffrey is the new league leader at 19. He was already the league leader before.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I just want to. So think about those names. And Kamara is an idiot because he's getting the most money that he's going to. And I don't know, but he's not going to get more money than that. The market just doesn't bear it out. And right, so you think about those names, and that was my last point. You think about those names and the sustained performance at those positions, and the one that's most like, who's done it for much longer, who's most like Brees, is Kamara. But I'll tell you that without the the resume or the history. That's why I put him where he was. Those people have been over the top 3 rushing champions year after year after year, and they're not getting huge paydays. With a phenomenal season by Brees, which I just described, I don't think he'll have a solid season, not a phenomenal season. With that's why I put him at $8 million. Upward maybe 10, but I don't see it. So that's all. I don't want to dominate. I appreciate and. Check it out. Very sweet hat. Get yours today.
I love it. Mine's hanging over here. Again, I wanted to give an ode to our Celtics winning it 16 years later here in New York, which is amazing. So I wanted to do that. But we do have the merch, and I'll be wearing all that tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. There you go. The Esden Zone, baby. Love it. Thanks for calling in, Pop. All right, there he is. Wow. Okay. All right, we'll see how the chat feels about that. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go back to the. God, I love you. I love you guys. All right, let's go back to the chat. All right, we've got Bobby here on the show. What's up, Bobby? Good morning.
Congratulations on the Celtics win. I was happy for you guys.
Thanks, pal.
I didn't like the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah,
Didn't Kamara get in trouble last year for something? Then he gets
he beat a guy up at a club or something. Yeah, it was not great.
Something like that. So I don't know who's going to pay him all his money he thinks he's deserving.
Yeah, right now he's the second highest paid running back in football, but he's holding out. I heard from Saints people. So yikes!
I don't see nobody paying him more money than like your dad says, like $10 million.
Yeah.
You know that movie your father brought up, Invincible?
Yeah, Vince Papale, Mark Wahlberg. Yeah.
You saw the movie, right?
Yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah.
Do you remember the scene when they're in the locker room? He's talking to this offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
You know who that was?
No.
His name was Dennis Franks, okay? So me and my ex-wife was in this business called Market America. Okay. And we had a convention down at North Carolina. So Joe was under him. So we got to meet the guy. He played for Philadelphia Eagles. So guess what jersey I wore to visit him with.
Him? His?
Yeah, I visit.
Oh.
No, not his. No, I
Oh.
visit him with.
Papali?
No, Phil Sims.
Oh boy, I bet he appreciated that.
Oh no,
Wow.
he didn't. No, that's what I did. I wanted to get. I'm just kidding. He almost threw me out of the room.
Yeah, that's
But he
funny.
just died recently. It was sad.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
He's a very nice guy.
Well,
Very good
you're a very nice guy, Bobby. So I always appreciate you calling in and your awesome show,
Oh, you
Bobby
got
Woodruff.
You got the radio station today?
I do. Yep, I'm back
Yeah.
at the radio station after a day off yesterday. I'm back. I'm back in action.
How did everything go with the baby?
Excellent. Man, I wish I'm an idiot. I should have had it.
No, you're not an idiot. Stop it.
I wish I had. You know what? Actually, hang on tight, Bobby. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the Bobby Show right now. 1 second.
Hi guys, how's everybody doing this fine, beautiful day? Everybody's happy? Oh, for 4 hours last night, Paul. Boy Green.
You're a trooper. You're a
I
trooper.
know. We had fun last night.
Okay.
But when they would turn,
here's my baby boy right there.
Oh,
My baby boy. That's so I'm having a son. He's weighs 9 ounces right now. That is a PE3. That's Paul Esden III. Paul Andrew Esden III.
Yes.
A beautiful boy.
Very congratulations.
Thank you, Bobby, and thanks for hosting a mini Bobby show right there. I appreciate that to give me some time.
Yeah, but don't call yourself an idiot. That was
Okay,
I did
I'll work on that.
yesterday on my channel. They kept saying not to do that. So.
Yeah, self-deprecating. That can sometimes come out every once in a while. Yeah.
Do you know what Jake did last night?
Wow, that's that leaves a lot to interpretation.
No, he went on air for 10 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Oh, there was Mad Dog Radio or something, right?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to call him this time. I usually do, but
yeah,
I was busy on my show. So.
Okay.
Well, I'll let you go, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thanks, Bobby, for calling in. Appreciate you. All right, let's go next here, Ricky. Look at that friggin' jersey. Oh my God, that is so nice. Yeah, show us a back real quick, Ricky. Let me see that. Oh my frick! Oh, that jersey is amazing, man. Oh, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, you know what? I ordered a bunch of jerseys, and I guess they, for whatever reason, they split the order up, and they're kind of trickling in one at a time. So,
well, that's good and bad. Yeah.
You know, weirdly, I got like all the odd numbers. I got Sauce, Garrett, Jordan Travis. I got a Reddick jersey, Jermaine Johnson, all the odd numbers. And so far, Travis came, this one came, Reddick's coming later this week, and the other two are just somewhere
Damn.
on the globe. But
that looks so freaking good, man. That looks amazing.
In response to what your dad was saying, the list of names that he read off, other than Christian McCaffrey, I would take Brees over every single one of them.
I agree.
You know, Kamara has had up and down years. I mean, Josh Jacobs has been hot the last couple of years. Prior to that, not so much. And Saquon hasn't really had sustained production either. I mean, I would.
And the other one's Jonathan Taylor, who was injured. So yeah, if we're being honest, fine. Christian McCaffrey, obviously, front cover of Madden, he's been Offensive Player of the Year. He's a freak. He deserves to be number one. But I agree with you. If you look at the rest of the five, I'm taking Brees number 2.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget that Brees was coming off a pretty significant injury himself. And so, you know, that's where I would stand with Brees. You know, I've said it a million times, you know, being that his contract will be up before the other guys, I would sign him first. And, you know, preferably I'd like to do it before he has that big monster year, because that number's only going to go up, you know,
right.
But I can understand why they're not as well. Now, and I give your dad a lot of credit, you know, for he's got a lot of insights on the Jets for not being a Jets fan. He's got the knowledge, he's got the stats, but what he doesn't have is the faith. You know, he doesn't have the faith that we have. And the one thing that I would have to kind of push back on a little bit is what he said yesterday about Rodgers only working 4 days last year. Like, come on, really?
Yeah, here's his thing, and feel free to crap on it because I do. So Rogers gets injured. He goes out to California to get the surgery and does the rehab out there. What really gets under my dad's skin, and me and him have talked about it privately, is he wishes that Rogers would have rehabbed in the New York, New Jersey area so he's around the team the entire time. I say, and that's where he gets all angry, I say I'm fine with him going to the best doctor in the world if that rehabs him better. And then he returned to the team, which whatever it was, I don't remember the exact date, but Kansas City, maybe week 6-ish, week 7-ish, somewhere last year is when he came back, or week 4 was technically Kansas City. So it was whatever, 4, 5, 6, whenever he came back and they was with the team. So that pisses off my dad, and that's why I always twist the knife on that. But I'm fine with Rodgers going to the proper doctor, the proper rehab place that he felt comfortable with. Awesome. And then come back when he was ready, and that's what he did.
Right. And I mean, there was all the workouts he did prior to those 4 days, voluntary and otherwise, and then all the work from his rehab. I mean, that guy came back quicker than anyone we've ever seen from an Achilles injury. And like everyone says, like, had we still been in it, he would have played last year. I mean, he worked a lot more than 4 days. That guy worked his ass off to come back. And sadly, we weren't still in it, so we didn't get to see that. But we've all heard he was carving up the first team defense, coming off that injury. And I'm with you. I got no problem with that. And, I understand, he made the comment about he wasn't there to help Zach. You know what? We didn't bring him in to save Zach. We brought him in to be our quarterback. Helping Zach was just an added benefit. But dude, there's like, you can't fix stupid. Okay. Like
Zach has to save himself. He's a professional.
Yeah. Zach is what Zach is at the end of the day. But you know what? Rodgers, I think, did plenty. And that's where I would have to, kind of go against that argument. He did a lot of work, and, it's just too bad we didn't get to see that. Now this year, different story. Can't wait for this year to happen. And keep up the good work, Paul. And I'll let you get on to the next people.
Okay, I'm looking forward to now. Every time Ricky calls, he shows us a different jersey now. That with that flexing and all the jerseys coming in at odd numbers of this, that holy crap! I have not seen the new jersey, like outside of it being on Garrett's body in the like little photo shoot. I have not seen the new stealth black, which is whatever they call it. That with the Garrett Wilson, holy friggin' crap, that's looking real nice. All right, let's go back to it. I saw Darren said earlier, where's BMAC? I need my SVU. Let's bring him in. BMAC, the legend himself, Chris says, with no SVU. Sorry, Darren. I'm sorry about that. But BMAC, welcome to the show.
Hey, Paul. First of all, before I get into my bag on your pops, I want to just say congratulations to your Celtics.
Thank you.
I live in Massachusetts. I live like not near Boston, but about 3 hours.
What city are you in? What city are you in?
Pittsfield, Massachusetts.
Oh no, I've never heard of it. Okay.
It's a town. It's not a city. It's a town.
Okay.
It's right near the New York, like closer to like right near the Massachusetts and New York.
The border and stuff. Oh yeah, that's that. Wow, that's way up there. Okay, all right.
But it's still in Massachusetts. I still live in the state, but not.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I got
congratulations to the Celtics.
Thank you.
I'm happy for the city of Boston. They deserve it, in my opinion.
Okay.
I know a lot of people are gonna push back on me on that, but hey, man, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I gotta show love to the state that I'm living in right now, and gotta show love to the city of Boston. So,
of course, appreciate it.
Thank you. Right, so I saw your show yesterday, and first of all, I want to give a lot of people credit for hopping on here and pushing back on your dad, Ricky Kinlowski. He's gonna come and bring that heat.
He sure did.
NY Jets, Florida, be all, because as a Jet fan, defend your quarterback, man. Defend your quarterback. You know what I mean? It's when someone goes at your quarterback unnecessarily and gives him unnecessarily criticism, push back. Don't sit there and take it. Push back. You know what I mean? Say,
Yeah.
hey, don't attack my quarterback for no reason. You know what I mean? And criticize my quarterback for no reason. And the thing is that, I'm just so sick of hearing about this stupid mandatory 2-day mini camp practice. Like people acting like it's like the biggest thing in the world, or it's like it's training camp. Me in June, training camp. Now, if he misses mandatory training camp, that's a whole different story.
Of course,
but he's not going to miss mandatory training camp. We all know 1,000% he's going to be there for training camp. So what's the big fuss about? Why are we even talking about this? You know what I mean? Like we should all be moving on and talking about the Son Reddick, or talking about like important things. You know what I mean? Instead of this stupid mandatory media camp. And your dad, I just want your dad to be very honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come out and say the main reason why you don't like Rodgers. Come out and say that you disagree with his politics, and you don't like his off the field antics, and his ayahuasca retreat or whatever, and that he kicked your team's ass every single time you face him in his career.
I see.
Rodgers is 18-2 in his career against the Cowboys. 18 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
It's pretty good.
He has owned the Cowboys in the regular season and in the postseason. As a Packer fan, I saw all the games. So, Mr. Senior, please, just be honest. Just say just come out and say the real reason why you hate Aaron Rodgers. And if you do that, I have more respect for you. But if you're gonna keep making up these false narratives and say that, he's a bad teammate and he doesn't care about the Jets and he left Zach Wilson out to dry. First of all, Zach is a grown-ass man, right? Zach has a lot of money, right? He has, he's wealthy, right? Zach don't need no Colin, no baby, right? And it's not Aaron Rodgers' job to help Zach Wilson. It's not his job. His job was to come to the Jets and help y'all win a Super Bowl. That was his main job. Now, him helping Zach Wilson was like a bonus,
Correct. Yes, that's how I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, like if Rodgers comes and plays at a high level and plays for 2-3 years, and Zach can sit and learn and benefit from that. And yeah, there's a chance that he becomes your next franchise quarterback. But let's stop, shouldering the blame on Rodgers on Zach Wilson's failure. Zach Wilson was a failure before Rodgers went to the Jets. All right, so he came there to the Jets to help Zach get better, and it just didn't work out for the kid. All right, that's not Rodgers' fault. That's Zach's fault. You know what I mean? That's the organization's fault for drafting Zach Wilson. You know what I mean? And not doing their homework on him. Before they drafted the kid. So I just don't get, and where he's coming from and comparing the Son Reddick thing. Like the Son Reddick thing is different because the Son Reddick is actually holding out for a contract. Rodgers is not holding out. Rodgers let the team know months ago that he was going to miss training camp. All right. I kind of blame Robert Saleh for saying what he said and saying how he said it, unexcused. Like, when you say that, you got to know that, that was going to cause a big storyline.
Sure.
If he would just say an excuse and, he's had to do something important and we don't know where he's at. A ton of people
we do not. No.
Ayahuasca trip. We don't know that. That's just some rumor report, like Rodgers could be at a charity event, or maybe he's trying to make up with his family or something like that. I know he's having family issues. So maybe he's at a family event and he want to make up with his family and trying to get them back on the same pace with them because that's important to him and that can help him play better this year. You know what I mean? So if he is at an ayahuasca retreat, you know what I mean, then great, so be it. You know what I mean? Like if he does that to help him mentally and to help his mental health, then then let him do it. And the last time he did it, he came out and won back-to-back MVPs. So him doing ayahuasca is a great thing for y'all because that means the 5th MVP is coming.
Okay, sign me up.
I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't.
Okay.
I mean, what's your whole thing with this? With this Rogers thing?
Yeah, I mean, you said it very well there, very eloquently. I'm kind of in the same camp, but he's been there for all voluntary. We don't know what he's doing. Ritz Media speculated he's on a vacation halfway across the world in like Egypt or something, whatever, if that's what he's doing. Again, he will have to answer for it, so it won't die today, unfortunately, as much as a lot of us want it to. They report on the 23rd of July and the first practice of the 24th. So whether he speaks on the 23rd or 24th, the media is going to go, Rogers, where the hell were you? Why'd you skip out? This, that. So this story may die soon, like in a week or something. Like, oh, the Flames quiet, and then training camp, the Flames are going to go back up, and Rogers will have to answer for it if he does not do some sort of Pat McAfee show or something in between. And even still, I think the media would still ask him about it then. So we'll just see. To me, none of this is going to matter in wins and losses. That's what I care about. I put this in the same bucket as everything else, quite frankly. Again, if he missed training camp, which is all mandatory, that's something else. But with this, just 2 random days in June, I don't care. I don't care about his political stuff. I don't care about vaccines. I don't care if he wants to wear a mohawk. He can do whatever the hell he wants as far as I'm concerned. As long as he's throwing touchdown pass on Sunday and delivering for the team, that's all that matters to me.
And plus, he's a 20-year veteran. Like the dude is the oldest current football player right now in the league. Like he's been around for 20 years. He's been doing this. I'm talking about the practice part. I mean, he's been doing, the practice and all that stuff for since he's been in the NFL, since college. He's probably been practicing. You know what I mean? So the dude deserves the benefit of the doubt because of his track record, his resume, and all that stuff. And it's not like, it's not like he's a 3rd-year player or 4th-year player. You know what I mean? Like, I just think get off the dude's back. He deserves the benefit of the doubt. And people say, oh, well, he needs it for chemistry. Like, that's what training camp is for. Training camp is for chemistry. You know what I mean? And he was still for all the voluntary stuff for 2 months. You know what I mean? So, how much? So, like, do you think these 2 days of shorts and t-shirts is going to really make a difference on how they get off on how they get off in the beginning of the year? Like, if they get off to a slow start, it's not going to have nothing to do with Mrs. 2 days of camp. It's going to do with the execution, who the opponent they play in. You know what I mean? Something like that, coaching, a mistake here and there, you know what I mean? Like them, like winning, like you said, their record, it's not gonna, him missing 2 days is not gonna have an impact on their record this year.
No.
And I give you a fun stat. Rogers, right, has won the MVP 4 times, right? 3 out of the 4 times he's won the MVP. He didn't have mandatory minicamp in 2011 because of the lockout. 2000, or in 2020 because of COVID. In 2021, he didn't attend to mandatory minicamp. He won the MVP
I didn't know that.
3 of those seasons. 3 of those seasons, he won the MVP. So, you know what I mean? 3 out of 4 times he was the MVP.
Good stat.
3 of those he won it without participating in mandatory minicamp. So get off the dude's nuts. All right, he's gonna be there for training camp. Paul Senior, look, I do love you because I do love you, Boy Green. So a friend of me, so a friend of you is a friend of his. You know what I mean? So
yes, I understand.
So, but just chill, pops, chill. All right. And but one question I do got. There's a lot of big storylines in this Hackett and Rogers thing. Hackett, rightfully so, has been getting a ton of criticism for last year. But you got to admit, Rogers didn't play all last year. Do you trust, if Rogers is healthy and on the field, do you trust Rogers with the offense at the helm, even though Hackett's the, for loss?
I do, and I can't remember if it was Rich Samini or who wrote about this, so excuse me for not having the proper citation here, but someone talked about that Saleh sticking with Hackett, and now it being the second year in the system, you would have had another new system for Rodgers to have learned this offseason, which could have complicated the process if you're trying to win a championship. So it's the same offense. So Garrett's in the same offense, Brees in the same offense. Like, think about all those guys in the impact. So I think that's going to help. And, of course, Rodgers being on the field is going to be the ultimate help. So yeah, I have some level of concern because Hackett is the guy, but it's minuscule. I believe in Rodgers. I believe in the talent. I believe in the team, and I believe they will be able to overcome any issue there may be because sort of what we saw with Rodgers on the sideline and scan opportunities where he's wearing a headset during the season last year. If there was a Hackett call that he didn't like, you saw him physically go like, ugh. Like, and he was reacting, and he couldn't do anything on the sideline. In a game, he could do it. He could go kerfluffle blue cobra, and get one of these going or one of those going or doing anything. So, long story short, it's going to be fine. I am perfectly okay with the situation, and maybe we'll get into the season. There's Hackett problems, we're not discussing or talking about, but I think it's going to be just Andy.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have to give for today. I'm going to hop off and let you get some more people on and let you do your thing. I just want to say, congratulations to the Celtics. Celebrate, you know what I mean? Pop the champagne, you know what I mean? And love you. Keep doing your thing. Oh, one thing, Foley. Are you still going to get Ty Dunn?
Yes. Yeah, that's on my list. I'm going to put that back on the sheet of paper that has important documents and things. Ty Dunn. He's one. Again, I had him on my radio show. A guest to come. I'll have to see. I don't know where he's at right now, location-wise. So hopefully it's not too far out west where it's a big time gap. But hopefully he can come on this morning show. So yes, I just put that on my sheet.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. As a Packer fan, he does. He covers the Packers and.
He's a good guy. I've known him for a while.
With the beat, yeah. All right, well, that's all, Paul. Thank you.
Yep, there you go. B-Mac joining us here on the show, gracing us with his presence. Beautiful. You love to see it. Okay, and yes, I got rid of the one guy in the chat that was being disturbing. Sorry about that, guys. By the way, my father's released a statement after the B-Mac stuff. You're just going to see my eyebrows as I'm reacting to this. My responses are based on topics and content of the show. If this is beyond the comprehension of some of your fans, I can't help them. The Jets organization stated Aaron Rodgers was helping with Zach Wilson's development, not me. Again, with Cowboys attacks instead of engaging with an intelligent, fact-stat-based response. Peace and love. I wonder if that like a fuck you. You know what I mean? Like if I'm like, with all due respect and that, it kind of feels like a fuck you, pal. But take that as you will, everybody. Anywho, let's go back to the phone lines. We got Uncle Tio here on the show. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on? I just wanted to make sure that BMAC didn't have any more points to make.
Might have been some point shaving happening there for our betting people. There might have been some point shaving there. He might have known about that bet and cut under. I don't know, but.
Hey, listen, you can't throw up the peace sign without throwing up the middle finger. So
that's a good point. That's a good bit of advice there. I like that. That's funny.
So, just a couple of points. I'm not going to take too much time, but first of all, congratulations on the sonogram, healthy child, everything going smoothly for the third. Obviously, I wanted to shout that out. Shout out to the coffee crew in the chat. One of the things I wanted to talk about was like Woody Johnson. And I remember when like the Johnsons took over the team, I was surely convinced that Woody had no idea about anything about football. Like he did not know what, football, didn't really watch it or anything like that. I was like really convinced, but it looked like over time he actually like kind of learned. And then if you remember during the, I want to say the Trump administration, he became the United States ambassador to the United Kingdom, and Chris Johnson took over.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That's a good point.
Chris Johnson knew even less about football than Woody. It made me miss Woody when he took over because it looked like the organization at that time was just like, in my opinion, not very good at that time. You know, some of the decisions that were being made
Right,
were.
he hired Adam Gase, right? That was Christopher, right?
Yeah, but I believe so. Yes. So,
Yeah.
you know, I can't complain about Woody. I really am happy to have him back. And I just wanted to make that point because I know that was like one of the first things that you talked about in the show.
Sure.
Now, I love Daddy Green. You know, he's a cool dude, right? But he has these hot takes, right? And they're just full of gas. Okay. He's talking about like Brees, you know. I mean, if you're talking fantasy, bro, Brees is ADP is in the top 10. Him, I mean, like him and Garrett Wilson, ADP is between like 5 and 8 right now. So I mean, like we're talking about two New York Jets for fantasy football that are like up there in the first 12 picks at the very least. So you know, you're talking about you know, two, I mean, respected players, not just by fantasy, but by football standards as well. So, and he said something about, I mean, he lost me at being a Cowboys fan. And you know, when he started talking, everything else sounded like, you know, the Peanuts. Wah, 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 wah. I respect your statement, and I respect, you know, a lot of the things that you say when you come on the show and stuff like that. It's a different opinion. Let's put it that way. But I mean, if you really want to, you know, get down to it, nobody's joking about your Dallas Cowboys. You want to hear some jokes about the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh, sure.
Here's one. What do you call 53 people sitting around the TV watching the Super Bowl? The Dallas Cowboys. But that's all I got, brother. Have a great day. Peace out, Coffee Crew. Let's go.
I love it. Thank you, Tio. And also, he's a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club, which is our YouTube membership. So, guys, if you'd like to join and join the army, do it just like Tio did yesterday. Again, it is the money sign on your screen. If you're, depending on whether you're watching your phone or your computer, you can join the Boy Green Coffee Club for a small fee every month. Join the group, baby. And also there's the Boy Green merch shop, which again will be showing off some of the stuff tomorrow that I got in yesterday, including the hat. I love how the hat came out. I'm a hat junkie, so it's I love how the hat came out. That makes me feel great. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. The 400 people in the room live. Like the video. Hit subscribe. We appreciate you. And the folks that listen after the fact or even the audio podcast that we also upload separately. We appreciate you. I got to run to the radio station, but we'll be back live at 1 o'clock. It'll be myself and James Woody at a special start time of 1 o'clock. We'll see you guys in a couple hours for some more fun Jets talk. Love you guys, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.